see you, my heart starts racing, but I don't know if I like this chasing and playing and waiting around. It's a shame that my hands start shaking all of the time when you're around.
Today is August 14th, 2020, Friday of the 18th week in Ordinary Time. I hope I have that right. And you are tuned in to Deacons Discussions and Drinks.
Don't you see what's wrong with me? I need somebody to love. Oh, no. I don't know what I could say to convince you to hang around when you don't have to. There's so much that I'm still keeping to myself, 'cause you don't listen, babe. But still you got me missing you. When I see you, my heart starts racing, but I don't know if I like this chasing and playing and waiting around. It's a shame that my hands start shaking all of the time when you're
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another show. And we're live. I'm Deacon Tim Stout.
I'm Deacon Dallas Kelly.
I'm Father Linh.
He's back.
I'm back.
That was great Sunday at Mass. I love that, by the way. You're back. Hey, we're here in the studio again. It's Friday. It is the 19th. I've been corrected. The 19th week in Ordinary Time. And it's episode 19 of Deacons Discussions and Drinks. Did you ever think that we would get to 19 episodes?
Nope. I didn't think this pandemic could last this long.
Yeah.
What kind of pandemic was it?
I have no idea. It's all begin with the toilet paper, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it did to begin with that. I think we're on the second round because it's hard to find that again.
Is that right?
Toilet paper and paper towels.
It's hard to find anything. I'll be honest with you. Anything I want, I can't find. So, hey, well, we're doing a live call-in show again today. We got stuff we want to talk about, obviously, and I put that kind of in the Facebook post that we put up before we go on. But you can call in. The number 657-332-2667. That's 657 Deacons. You can also text to that number if you're camera shy and you just want to, put a comment up. We also have a professional texter among us, Dallas Kelly, Deacon Dallas. He's an expert with people texting him, right?
That's right.
He has his own personal text line. Father Linh does too. He's really good with his texting on his phone. So you can text them individually. Don't text me. I've got too much going on here. They just get to do their thing. So, and you can make comments on Facebook and YouTube. So thanks for joining us tonight. We hope to have a good show. Did I miss anything there in the intro, guys? No. So let's talk about current events. Is there anything going on in the world that we need to know about?
Too many.
No, not a thing. That concludes our show for the day, for the night.
Well, let's start with general current events before we get into long-term topics. How about that?
Okay.
Dallas, you want to go first?
Well, the thing, I got to find where is that?
Okay, Father Linh, do you want to go first?
No, I got it. Now, this does happen to do with coronavirus.
What's that?
Is
that the pandemic thing?
Premature birth rate has declined dramatically worldwide since the pandemic started, and scientists and doctors are trying to figure out why. In Canada, it is down 37%.
So babies are going to full term.
Full term. And what's considered a preemie, I'm not real sure. It probably was in the article somewhere. Here's unbelievable. In Denmark, premature births are down 90%.
Wow.
Ireland is down 70%. And it says United States and Australia reporting lower numbers than usual. They didn't give the percentage on them.
Wow.
There you go.
They've speculated. Now,
what's the speculation? Because I've got an opinion.
Well,
I'm a scientist, so I get an opinion.
Anywhere from less stress because people's not working.
I disagree with that.
To people's restaurants are closed and their nutrition has gone up.
That's the one I was going with.
good, healthy. It's called
Healthy, yes.
They're getting healthier.
I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're eating at home a whole lot more. I mean, we might only eat out once a week, maybe. I mean, and we don't really eat out. We take out, but everything else is home cooked.
We still eat out a lot more than we should. We DoorDash a lot.
I don't know. That's interesting. I mean, I think there's a lot of health things that are going on. I think people are working out more. I see a lot more people walking in my neighborhood. I see, more people working out. You can't buy any weights, by the way. Like if you want to go buy barbells or any of that stuff, you can't find that stuff anywhere. Kind of like Dallas trying to buy a boat. Good luck with that, right?
Yeah, and I'm headed to Cabela's in Louisville tomorrow morning to see if I can find one.
So I think there's a lot of trends to help towards healthier lifestyles.
One of the things I recognize a lot, I'm sure you are seeing this, I see a lot of dad pushing baby cart outside. I seen a lot of that. It was beautiful to see that.
No, I think there is definitely more family interaction. You can't buy basketball goals. You can't find trampolines. You can't find above ground swimming pools.
You can't find freezers. Those the top lift up freezers. I've been looking for one.
I call Deacon Tim can give you one.
I know somebody who.
Well, I was gonna trade him, sell him one, but I was gonna have to get. I wanted to get a chest freezer, and I can get one in February of 2021.
Well, what's the one you got? That's not considered a chest freezer.
Sorry, I want a upright.
Oh, upright. See, I want a chest freezer.
So I have a chest. It's just.
I know somebody that went to Lowe's to buy a washer the other day, and they can't get one till September. A washer, the one they want anyway. I'm not sure if it.
I mean, that's just part of it. I think but you do, going back to what you were saying. I think people are living healthier lifestyles. But I do think there's a tremendous, and I've seen articles about it, a tremendous amount of stress that is going on in everybody's lives. So I don't think it's stress related. Even if people aren't working, there is. I was talking to a guy today, this week about this. I think it might even be. I talked to you about it too. About I'm on edge. I mean, there is nothing normal anymore, and it really is frustrating to me.
But the mere fact, once we announced, was interesting when I had this COVID, and there is a lot of concern, not for my well-being, that's fine, but concern among a parishioner.
It got real
fast. And that you can notice, at least for me, the language of people very intense, and you can feel, oh no, it's real. It's here, and he got it. So I do believe that the level of stress is different than normal life stress because of we thought this thing only lasts for a few weeks, and now into 5 months now, and it's not going away.
Oh, it's not going anywhere. And it's got legs. I mean,
and I remember, just tonight going to the wedding rehearsal, everybody wear masks. They don't question that anymore. It's a given.
No, and I that's one of the things that I noticed. There's a difference in, I don't know, level of attunement to it. Where you've got all these people out there talking about conspiracy theories and stuff, and I'm so tired of hearing about all that stuff. Tired about hearing that Bill Gates is going to implant a chip in me
when the vaccine starts.
Yeah, I'm going to get implanted with a chip, and nobody's going to know about it. It's going to be a secret chip. Newsflash: if more than 2 people know about it, it's not a secret. So there's not a conspiracy theory going on. There's not a conspiracy going on to not elect President Trump, reelect President Trump. That's just that. All that does is add to the anxiety and this nonsense of normalcy. I mean, I just wish it wasn't a presidential election year, because that would cut everything in half. But I'm stressed. I'm majorly stressed. So
the stress is real. The idea we has become so self-absorbed and self-contained, and then this new thing hit us, and we have no way of managing it. We spent billions of dollars trying to manage this reality, from workplace, education. God.
Yeah, we can get into that in a minute if you want.
But for me, let me read this letter that the Pope wrote to Carl Anderson. It's a beautiful remind them about the convention that the Pope greeted them, 139th Supreme Convention.
Yeah, virtual. It was virtual.
Virtual and some in person in August. The theme of the convention is fraternity is timely remind the vision that guide the foundation of your order. And this time the world faced challenge of COVID-19 pandemic, and it is far-reach effect on people, economic, social life. The church as a whole feel the urgent need to reawaken and put into practice the solidarity and hope capable of giving strength, support, and meaning to our brothers and sisters. You know, it reminds the essential what faith is. You know, it gives a sense of secure. And he go into the work of Father McGivney. You know, he talk about, don't forget that. You know, it's a central time. You know, he call him the heroic. You know, he's gonna be canonized in October.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's really that's an integral that letter really plays into one of the big programs that the Knights have this year. Leave no one behind, no neighbor behind,
no neighbor behind.
And you know, it's not just the service of the Knights; it's the service of the Catholic Church. Right?
And go on. This is a line so beautiful. Leave no neighbor behind program offer the Knight family a true path of daily sanctification. Okay, and Christian witness through the building up of family life, individual and society grow into solidarity, mutual respect, truth, mercy, and love. You know, all of that, isn't it? It's something that when people talk out there, is this work from God? This COVID, that is, or from the devil. But more and more, it gives us a sense go into the spiritual sense. You think?
Yeah. I mean, I was actually, when we were setting up in here earlier, I was listening to a podcast and talk just about that, and that, you know, go back to the readings, I think it was 2 weeks ago, where, you know, everything that we do, we have to do for the glory of God. Mm-hmm. And I think when we're in the midst of this pandemic, we forget that.
Exactly.
Right. And that's, to me, you know, I get my sense, my weeks are chaotic as heck, but the one sense of normalcy that I get every week is Sunday Mass. And there's nothing normal about it, right? We're on the front steps of Cardone, but I see people, I engage with people, we engage with people, but it's in a different way. But it's, to me, that work that we do on Sunday, and if we can do it throughout the week at other masses eventually, that's where we're laying the groundwork for the people to come back to the church, because there's still a lot of people that haven't been to church.
Right.
And, you know, to me, it's difficult for the bishop, it's difficult for the priest to sit up there and say, whenever the time is to come, there's still going to be a certain number of people that are going to be scared to death to come back to church.
Yes.
And, you know, that balance between that dispensation that's in place, still in place here. It's been lifted in one diocese. I think it was North Dakota. One diocese has lifted that. So the requirement is back. I'm pretty sure it was North Dakota. But that balance, I mean, how do you tell somebody you got to save your soul when they're scared to death for their life? You know, I mean, that's hard. And that's the dichotomy of this, and that's where we have to minister to people, right? We have to be present for people, but you can't be present for people. Mm-hmm. you can do it 6 feet away. Hey, how you doing?
No, it works both ends, isn't it? You know, one side, each and every one of us fear out there and have to relook at what is the faith mean. At the same time, the church has a great responsibility to remind people about that faith. You know, that's why you like the Mass, because it's the only thing consistently of normality. It's about the Eucharist, right?
Right.
It's about that.
I agree.
Now, the state that you said has lifted the obligation, is there still distancing in that state?
Yes.
How do you lift the obligation and you still got to stay apart? What if you can't fit everybody into your churches? You know,
I mean,
I'd have to know more about. You know,
I was listening to a YouTube video from my home parish in Louisville. I was seeing how they went back, and I was looking at some of their masses and stuff. Just trying to compare and look forward to when we get back into church. And they did a video, and it's actually the youth minister doing the video, and he gets out in front and he says, get here early because at 10:30 we're locking the doors, and if you get here at 10:20 and it's already full, we're locking the doors. So don't be offended. You're not getting in.
And here you're supposed to keep the doors open, right? So
well, they have the doors open so nobody touches it, but when it gets full, then they shut the doors, and that's the message is, you're not coming in. But, it's that dichotomy of things, right? That difference. And I think that's one of the things for us and to have an outdoor mass. I'm surprised that we haven't picked up more people out of Lexington to come to our mass. Just because there are no limitations except you got to keep your social distance.
Mm-hmm.
No getting a ticket, no getting online or anything like that.
Well, with
Just
all the
show
program
up.
in Lexington themselves, some of the priests told me that people not coming.
Yeah, there's a fear. There's no doubt there's a fear, and I think, like you said, when you announced or when we announced that you had COVID, there was that fear. It became real for us. It makes you rethink everything, right? It makes you think, okay, when was the last time I was with him?
Yeah. Well, and we had people emailing, texting us, you were around Father Lynn, make sure you get tested. And we were tested.
And nobody positive.
No, just you.
Just me.
You must have the right blood type.
Probably. Well, I can't say on the radio, but, we're kind of anti-Chinese.
You just said it.
We are on the air.
The Chinese virus. 657-332-2667. That's 657-332-2667. 657 Deacons. Call or text. All lines are open. You're all scared.
That was a long topic. That was we start off with my topic. Did y'all have?
That was your current event too, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, kind of tied together.
Yeah. I don't really have a current event. I mean, I got a lot of them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so much going on. I guess the biggest thing really. Well, there's two things that are huge from a Catholic perspective that I think are going to be headlines for a while. There's probably more than two, but the two biggest ones I think are Joe Biden's faith is going to be a big topic, and Catholic schools going back in the state of Kentucky.
Which that already was a big topic. Did you see the governor the other day? He wasn't happy.
Oh, he
wasn't happy.
He called us irresponsible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an anti-mask guy. I don't have no problem wearing a mask, not at all. I have trouble. I don't know. It's just like I said. I look at things. We talked about this on one of the shows, and somebody said, "Tim, quit talking about all the daggone data because it's just too much information." And I get it, but that's how I look at things. I look at things as numbers. And when the governor gets up there, and I think he's done a pretty good job, and I know all the conservatives and the Republicans go ahead, call in, because we have lines open. You can go ahead and call in and talk to us about it.
If you're mad at Tim, call in.
I think he's done a pretty decent job. I think there is some inconsistency in where do you draw the line about getting on TV every day and talking about how many people have died, and now we're talking about how many kids specifically are getting sick. And the reason we didn't talk about kids before, but the reason we're talking about kids now is because of school. I get that part of it, but we have no frame of reference here. If you look at what's the number now, the total number of deaths in Kentucky, 700, right? 700 something.
700, yeah.
So, if you look at that in comparison to other communicable diseases, other things that are preventable, it dwarfs in comparison in this state. And I'm not saying, I'm not saying that it's not serious. I'm not saying that it's not a real disease. I'm just saying the amount of focus that is on it at the governor's level seems to be out of proportion to what is actually transpiring. And I don't have the solutions, and I'm not trying to I'm not trying to be political here at all. I'm just saying, if you look at 700 deaths and you annualize that out, and let's say it's 1,400, it's not going to be top 5 of causes of death in the state of Kentucky in 2020.
Now, here's the real information, okay? Let me tell you a little bit of my COVID experience. So 2 days ago, I received a, what do you call that thing? The certified letter from health department.
Contact tracing.
Okay. 2 days ago.
Well, you've been clean for 10 days.
Yes. So I open it up. So, yes, they asked me to call them. If I'm not responding, they sent personnel this letter that indicates. So I did call and find out what's going on. So it's actually contact tracing. And I say, well, I tell them the whole history of it. And I say, I'm basically negative twice now. And now you contacting me? And she apologized. She said, we are way behind. So we have a great conversation. But she say, unfortunately, when there is positive report, they send to us. No negative. When people complete back to negative, they don't want to send that information. So they request me if I can track down that negative and send to them so they can close out whatever, my case, I guess. And that, it's crazy. It's not.
Did they want to put an ankle brace on you?
They wanted to, but it's no way in the heck they're going to track all of that. But the point is, it is so inconsistent. In that ordeal, it's kind of tough. So the information, like I said, I'm not against the governor. He's doing a great job.
I mean, it's an impossible task.
Impossible task.
That's right.
But the information, it's all we pump out there is sound threatened. I'm not surprised when people hear I got COVID, everybody gets panicked because all you hear is death.
Bombarded with it.
Positive. But the fact is, 99.8, I believe, recover. And nobody talk about it. There had to be a balance to kind of calm people down a little bit.
No, and to me, that's one of the biggest things. I've got the number. I just pulled the numbers up. It's 804 deaths right as of today. It's 808 on the website. 38,000 people have tested positive. Only 9,000 are recovered. You believe that? I don't believe that.
Mm-mm.
I mean, there's a lot more people that are recovered that's in that number.
Like right now, I am still positive.
Even though you've recovered.
And I recover already.
So how long do you stay positive?
Until
You mean in the records?
In the record, they're based on that data.
Yeah, you might
We're
want to
moving away
clarify
from
that. You got to clarify that. That's on paper somewhere.
Somewhere you're
positive.
counted. You're in the statistics. You're counted
In the
as positive.
statistic, I am positive. Okay, but the recover, based on that woman told me, she asked me, tried to get, the place that did my test came back negative twice. Can you get that information sent to her?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So they're required by law to send in a positive test, but they're not required by law to say when you've recovered.
Right. And that's why the number recovered so short.
Sure. Yeah, I'm all about the data. So here's another thing in this travel advisory, right? So there's 9 states on the travel advisory. And it says right there, reporting positive testing rate equal to or greater than 15%. And then it lists the states. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those states are below 15%. Even though it says greater than 15%, but they're below 15%. It's just the inconsistencies like that make you stop and think, okay, update that thing. I mean, you're only talking about 4 states now: Texas, Idaho, Mississippi, and Florida. That's it. Things are getting better. You had all these states on there. It's getting better. They're telling teachers that they can't go. They suggest that they not go on fall break to any of the hot spots, which Florida's obviously going to be a hot spot. I mean, I don't know. It's at 17.6%, so it's coming down. But you can't go to these places. Well, if I go rent an Airbnb in Florida and I'm on a beach by myself, and I'm cooking my own meals, that's a little bit different than being in a crowd.
Exactly.
Now, didn't I hear? Ain't they going to do? I thought they were going to do away with fall break so that you couldn't go anywhere.
They have not said that. You talking about at the Catholic schools, or are you talking about public schools?
Public schools.
I have not heard that because actually the
Well,
dates,
Scott County is not going to open until October, right?
Well, yeah, it's got. I think the schedule currently is come back for a week, then you're off for a week.
Oh, okay.
And if a teacher wants to call in and give us the full schedule as it stands today, that's 657-332-2667. So you got to work that in every once in a while. And I'm sure that Steve's splashing it up on the screen every once in a while too. So, and it's just, it makes you crazy trying to keep track of all these numbers and make good decisions. I deal with it at home. I deal with it at church. I deal with it at work. I'm tired of dealing with it. I'll be honest with you. It's just, and at work, it's complicated.
I mean, that's why, don't get me wrong. I glance at the news occasionally to keep up with what's going on, but most of the time I turn to
I don't blame you.
From start. Of course, I'm retired. I'm not at work. You see, all got things. During my cleaning and everything I do, from start to finish, if you have the TV on, they're talking about the pandemic. It's constant. It just,
Now the election's taking over, though.
well, they're throwing the mix in there. So
yeah, it'll be a combination of the two, and I think.
But they're using that in the politics now. Who's to blame for not doing enough, and as they're going back and forth with all that. So they're using the pandemic in politics.
Yeah. And it's, I'll be honest with you, work is tough. There's this fear. We're labeled as essential, like a lot of people are, and we have, we supply to people that supply to power plants and water treatment plants. So you get this, you take pride in that, right? You don't want to shut any of those things down. You want people to have electricity.
Mm-hmm.
You want people to have water. You want people to be able to drive roads and things like that. And so you take pride in those things that you're essential, but there's also this added sense of responsibility and stress because if somebody gets it at work, it's going to have serious implications.
Yep.
And you don't want to be the one person that brings it in. You don't want to be the cause of it. And, even our customers feel the same way. We talk about it quite a bit. The stress is just so high.
I feel sorry, and my wife being one, for the ones that have to wear a mask the whole day. Wow. The longest I wear one is during Mass, and that's terrible.
It is an adjustment.
It just your heat of your body goes up tremendously just by wearing a mask.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you get used to it. I think
I have a text coming in. You ready to hear this?
Yeah.
I just got one too, but you go ahead first.
I don't know if this is appropriate for Deacon tonight, but the pick of Kamala Harris for the Democratic Vice President is disturbing, as she has attacked the Knight Columbus.
Oh yeah, I did hear that. Which I already knew.
Yeah, it was in the
She said-
Because we are
Kavanaugh.
pro-life, right?
It wasn't the Kavanaugh hearing, but she attacked Kavanaugh. She was the leader in the Kavanaugh prosecution.
Yes.
That's the best way to
But she
describe
also did it on a judge.
It was a federal judge.
Yeah.
Federal judge.
Member of the Knights of Columbus questioned, which is against the law for her to do that. But she went after him, and she went after him hard.
A judge should, if you're going to be a judge, you should not be a Knights of Columbus because of what they stand for. She said.
Yeah, that's correct. It's scary.
Yep.
That would disqualify. How many Knights are there nationally?
A lot.
Millions? Is it millions?
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
We do millions and millions. Of
Or
years
at
of
least a
service.
million.
Yeah.
Get ready. And as we get closer to November, the commercials will be more and more. You can't even watch a YouTube video without a political commercial breaking in or from the start or right in the middle of your YouTube thing you're watching. There's a political commercial, Luckily, they got that little skip ad thing show up. Just click it off. But you do have to watch 5 seconds.
1.7 million.
1.7 million Knights are disqualified from being a federal judge. Is that the...
Well, I guess in theory, she didn't say this, but she
I
could
know.
have said it. It would be easier for her to say, if you're Catholic, you're not qualified.
Right, because the belief she went over by the Knights is any Catholic was supposed to believe, right?
Well, to be a Knight of Columbus, you have to be a practical
Right.
Catholic. So, yeah, and then, one of the headlines that I saw, let me see if I can find it, was Joe Biden was encouraged, what was it, by the Little Sisters of the, they inspired him, but he's still going to sue them. Here it is. Biden says nuns inspire him to run. Plans to sue Little Sisters of the Poor.
Well, is he going to sue? Or is he just going to do away with the presidential thing that the Supreme Court ruled on?
That's what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also, he's running an ad. I don't know if y'all have seen it yet. The Biden ad of him and Pope Francis.
For real.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yep. So, you know, that's why I kind of said that's going to be the forefront. His Catholic faith is good. He is going to make his Catholic faith a part of the discussion for the election. And I'm not saying it shouldn't be, but if we're going to have a discussion about the Catholic faith, we need to talk about the Catholic faith, not about Joe Biden's faith.
Yes.
So, what I saw a quote the other day, St. Augustine. If you read the gospel and you interpret it your way, it's not God's
The gospel according to me.
Yeah, it's your gospel. It's not the church's gospel. Jesus' gospel. So go figure. Hey, I got a text coming in too.
Cool.
Hey, we're getting text. That's good. I like text. Long-time listener. Positive note from Jason Berry. What an amazing job to move the middle school to Cardone. It will be an awesome year for those kids in that environment. And Charlie stays 2 miles from Father Lynn's office if he's in trouble. If in trouble. No, that was a last-minute decision. Or not last-minute decision, but it was a kind of a late decision, right? The plan was to move preschool out here, and that just didn't work out.
Well, the preschool is require more inspection with the state right now. It kind of hold everything. So the shift is let's do the middle school out here. I think the team decided correctly in that. It's.
I got a question for Jason Barry. Where was you last week when I gave my fishing report?
Yeah, you missed an epic fishing
Go back
report.
and watch it on YouTube or Facebook if you want.
Yeah, it was.
It was live. Well, it wasn't live, but it was on site.
It was good. It was a video report, which makes our move to a boat. We need to do that before it gets to be code, right? John Carter said he's in. Jason Berry said
we
he's
might want to do that when it does get a little bit cooler. Believe me, I'm out on a boat in the hot sun, and man, it's hot. Ooh.
Hey, next week, couple of nights gonna come down like in the 50.
50s. 50,
That's
50,
perfect to go fishing.
54.
54.
Highs in the 70s.
What have we thought about Mass when it gets cold yet, or are we just going to push through?
We're going
We
to
gotta
ask
push
for
through.
shovelers. Snow shovelers.
And so instead of mowing the grass, we need professional snow shovelers.
Shovel.
It'll be like at the football game, Steve. When it snows in a stadium, you get those shovelers coming out, and we need anybody who are Packer fans. You should be experienced at that. You know who you are.
Well,
Jason's back. He says baseball's consumed him. Did he hear? Did you hear? Jason, text me back and let me know if you heard the basketball call of Deacon Dallas's most famous moment in his high school career.
We could play it again.
We play it again for.
We can do that. Jason, text me back. Did you hear the call of Dallas winning a ball game? Because if not, we're going to play that towards the later of the game.
41 years ago.
41 years ago. Not today, but 41 years ago. So anyway, Joe Biden's faith going to be a topic. Catholic faith is in the forefront right now. I posted a Facebook comment the other day. Either it's genius on the parts of the Catholic schools to get enrollment, right? Because it will lead to more enrollment. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
Or it'll be a catastrophe.
Boy, that's a great prediction.
and in the weather today, it's either going to be the sun or no sun.
It's going to snow or not.
I know. I do think that there are a lot of parents that it's not just a desire. It's not just a want. It is a need that they get their kids back to school. It has an impact on people's ability to do their jobs, to go to work. You know, childcare is. I heard a stat the other day that 50% of all childcare centers in the United States could close as a result of the pandemic.
Wow.
Think about that. Think about what that does to the
Working families.
the
Yeah.
average working families, and then also think about what it will do to the cost of childcare.
Yep.
I mean, childcare was already astronomically high. Anyway, that's a prediction. What?
But for me, I think the bishop makes the right move. It's time to try it. I've been with our task force here, deal with our school, and they work diligently. We have doctors and professional, and look at this at every angle, and position ourselves, reshape ourselves in a way to maintain social distance phase. And it's time to try it. You can't delay. I can see in public school much more difficult, because it's much, much, much larger, and the discipline probably is not as good as Catholic demand. I talked to Father Norman over Lexington Catholic. It's the largest, and they very strict. If you come in here and not follow the protocol, they kick you out. They will kick you out.
Well, that's kind of the discipline you have to have, right? Mm-hmm. No, I don't think a lot of people. I've read a lot of comments and stuff, even from our own parishioners, not just our parishioners, but I'll say known Catholics in the Diocese of Lexington that think it is a wrong decision. And I really think that we have now put every decision that is made in the political arena. Mm-hmm. So it's no longer what's a good decision. Now, is that a Democrat or a Republican response? So if it's a Republican response, then if I'm a Democrat, I have to be against it, or vice versa. And that's not the case, and that's definitely not the case for the church. Mm-hmm. And so I mean, if anybody thinks that Bishop John made a conservative decision, he didn't. He based it on what he felt like was the right decision for the church, mm-hmm. and what our ministry is and how we care for people. That's my opinion. Well,
there was, remember I think about a month ago, the governor kind of suggested we need to shut down church again.
Yeah.
And the bishop said, no, it's so inconsistent on that. We can't do that. We are doing fine. So.
Now, here's the inconsistency. If you really believe that masks will solve a problem, and kids in school are wearing masks,
what's the problem?
What's the problem?
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
Right. And if
it either works or it doesn't.
Right. And the biggest schools in the state, they're opening up.
Mm-hmm.
They might be changing the way they operate, but the universities are opening up. And, they're going to have protocols in place, but there is no way that they'll control it as well as the church will be able to control their schools.
Exactly.
So, will there be cases? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to get, we told you.
Yeah.
That's coming.
But, we could have said that about you, right?
Exactly.
Right? We could have shut everything down and just walked away. We did. We shut it down for a week. A week, which I think was prudent. We tested. You tested. I tested twice. Just because. And we... And all three of us, actually, Steve, you, Dallas, and myself, somebody in our household is getting tested regularly. So we have a barometer in our households, right? We know it's if somebody in our household gets it, we're going to know it, and if we get it, we're going to know it. That's how we're going to know it.
Plus, we might not even took those extremes, but he is the priest. Without a priest, you have no mass. So.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
So if it was somebody, if it was me or you, we might have still had mass, but
I did ask for a sub. You said no. Nobody's willing.
It's true. To have this experience interesting because it's affect everything around you. You know what I'm saying? The contact tracing, and definitely with us in this, this show right now, and it's easy to in that point. And then we have to trace back and back and back. So you have to...
Well, we are 6 feet apart.
Put a stop a little bit.
You got to get this on camera, Steve. So I'm doing my 6 feet.
But in my tracing,
Would you hand me a beer, Dallas, from 6 feet away?
The COVID that we got, the reason I found that was indoor mass.
Yeah.
With mask on.
Yeah, so that's the dichotomy. I'll tell you what. We got to refill our beers because this is a Deacons Discussions Drinks. Let's just listen just for a second to this recording.
Okay.
24 seconds left to play. They trail by 83-82. Dallas Kelly, right-hand corner, back outside of Mark Lynn. Now to Darrell Beal. On the baseline of Lee Gales. Drives, puts it up, hits the side of the board. Scott's got it. Flips it over his shoulder. Gales gets it. Down to Kelly. Has tipped it in. Dallas Kelly tipped it in with 7 seconds left to play in overtime, and Western now leads 84-83. That was a wild play. Gales took it in, hit the side of the board. Scott got it, but was falling away from the basket. Had to flip the ball over his head. Actually threw it behind him, and going up in midair, taking the ball and tipping it in was Dallas Kelly.
Mid-air.
Sorry, you have to get up, Father.
Mid-air. I mean, that's, I don't know. I've heard that 3 or 4 times now, but
I was so far above the rim. I was going to dunk it, but my chin was hitting the rim, so I just laid it up. That's how I remember it.
that, that was for you, Jason, just because you hadn't heard it before, and anybody else that hadn't heard that before. We have a star among us. Dallas.
That was back
Kelly.
when I could raise my arm over my head.
And that game was in overtime. I mean, that's an amazing thing. So, hey, let's go back to school just for a second.
Please, I've done been to school. I'm tired of it.
No, not that school. I'm talking about the school's opening up. When does school open?
The 17th. No, 17th.
So that's that Monday or
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Oh, excuse me, 19th. Going to be on Wednesday.
Yeah. Check the bulletin. Just say it, just in case.
What the principal told me this morning.
Okay. So excited about Cardone. I think a lot of people are excited about
think so.
Cardone. Yeah.
Our people did a tremendous job. You can't. It's beautiful. A lot of good work.
A lot of hard work. I mean, with the masses in school, it's unbelievable the amount of work that goes in.
So,
yeah, I'll say this again. Even this show, I mean, you all get the easy part of the show. You don't get the easy part on Sundays. You all don't. But Steve and I will say there's a lot of little things that go into tonight and Sunday, and they all have to work together.
yep.
And so when you take that and you put that on the level of a school, and especially moving to middle school out here, that committee has done an unbelievable job. And we got another committee that's working on adult formation, right?
Yes.
So Parish Council President Jay Jansen's working on that. That committee's done a lot of work so far. Kind of got interrupted for a couple weeks, but I think we're back on we got Wi-Fi in both buildings now. I don't know if you knew that or not. Yeah, that got finished up today. So we've got technology in both buildings, 2 and 3 at Cardome now. So we've got to move forward.
Yep.
We have to move forward. And I guess the next step will be talking about masses just in general as the weather comes, right? We've been lucky, really. I mean, with Sunday Mass, we've been blessed. God's hand is at play in our ministry. There's no doubt about it. We haven't had any severe weather. We've had some hot days, some really hot days, but in general, I think it's been good. I think our parishioners, our count's been pretty good. I think they were down a little bit in the last week or so. I think still above 200, which is to me is a. we got what was the highest we got? 450 one week. For confirmation, was it 450 or first communion was 400 and something, wasn't it?
No, over 5.
Yeah, I'd like to see that every Sunday, but that's not realistic. People are going on vacations, right? There were vacations, so hopefully, we'll see a little bit more people here Sunday. I think we need to do something a little bit different in liturgy too. I think we need to bring the incense out.
Actually, we need to bring the gong out back.
Bells, gong.
Oh, the bells or the gonger?
The gong so people can
That's
hear
for
it.
Lent.
Bell's not heavy enough.
I think we should process into. I think we should.
From the parking lot?
From the parking lot. I think we need to do something. We need to up our game a little bit.
Okay.
That's 6 more things I got to go to the
There
church
you go.
and
6
get.
more things. The detail.
I
The
gotta
detail
go
that
get
Deacon Tim talk about. The detail.
Hey, Steve and I got big boxes now. We carry our stuff around. Get you a box. Get you a big box. Hey, and nobody's using it at the church. I mean, it's not like they're going to use incense at a wedding, right? That's not happening.
We use it at adoration.
Oh, that's true. But we have two.
You ever use incense? Can you use incense at a wedding? I've never.
You can, yeah.
I've never seen it. I mean, have you done it?
I have done it for, big, high solemnity.
Like you did a Latin mass for a wedding once?
No.
You ever did a Latin mass?
Yes.
How long ago? Many years?
I would say 10, 15 years ago.
Wow. Could you do one now if you had to?
Yeah. Doing them with Father Valentine, God rest his soul, he died.
I remember him. He was something special. He looked like a turtle too, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I got text coming in. Do we want to use it?
Yeah, go ahead. Use them.
Okay, this has changed. Hold on, let me.
I mean, you are a superstar. Midair, Dallas Kelly. He walks on midair. Well, I thought you had it queued up.
Well,
wait a minute. Hold that.
Okay.
We got a caller.
Okay.
All right. Y'all ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
A caller.
We got a caller. Go ahead, caller. You're live on the air.
Good evening. First-time caller, long-time listener.
Neil Thompson. Welcome to the show, Neil. How's it going tonight?
How are you? All right. How are you guys doing? Jay Jansen gave me some grief a couple weeks ago for not calling in, so figured I'd give you guys a shot this evening.
I think we're doing pretty good, man. We just, like you were listening, and part of what you screened in on was schools reopening. You got to be excited about that too, huh?
Yeah, it's good. We were, we kind of talking a little bit what you all were saying. We're a house, both of us work, and both in cells. So the last 5 months have been pretty chaotic and hectic around our house, keeping kids in order and working. And, our kids have been, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad compared to what people say, but they've been in a summer program the last 2 months. So all's been well there. No COVID outbreaks or any positive cases. So
is that like a summer camp type
business
thing?
as usual
just
for school.
Just a summer education program?
Summer camp.
And
summer education program.
And no COVID issues there at all?
No COVID at all. The first day we were there, it got closed down for a day because one of the teachers had a fever. But she tested negative and they opened back the next day.
There will be a lot of that.
I've been reading all the articles, as I'm sure you all have too. And look, if you look at our neighboring state, Indiana, which has a lot more cases than us, they all started back to school today. I saw kids on Facebook posts getting on school buses, wearing masks and everything. So I don't think Kentucky is any different, so.
No, I think
back and
definitely, I think people get the seriousness of the mask. There might be some demographics that don't, but I think in general, I think the vast majority
whether you do or don't, wear a mask. I mean, is it really going to kill you to wear a mask around when you're out in public?
It's kind of
the way that I look at it anyway.
It kind of leads to my question. I always like to ask people when they talk about abortion and whether or not life starts at conception. I always like to say, what if you're wrong? What if life does really start at conception and your belief isn't? And I say the same thing about masks. What if you're wrong about masks? What if a mask really does make a difference and you don't wear it?
Yeah.
So it's an easy thing to do.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not like we're wearing a self-contained breathing apparatus. It's a mask, and it's a $1 billion industry. By the way, I don't know if y'all heard that news story. Making masks now is $1 billion industry. So then I'm not talking about the 3M mask.
Making masks.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the 3M N95 mask. I'm talking facial coverings. $1 billion industry now on Etsy.
You can get an MLB. You can get an MLB one now with your favorite team on it and your favorite player's number, and anything and everything you want, you can get on a mask now.
So, all right, Neil. Well, thanks for calling, man. What else can we do for you? Anything? Any other thoughts? What about Sunday Mass?
I don't.
Have you guys been able to go to Sunday Mass at all? What's your thoughts on that? Or are you watching live stream?
Yeah, we we have been, we haven't been a lot, and why, that's not, I don't have a good answer, but it's interesting to see how we're doing. Like my mom, she lives in Louisville. She goes every morning to mass.
Wow.
They're open in person. And on the weekends, she's been going. She always goes to like the 4 p.m. mass or 4:30 at
What parish is?
Mount
What's your home
Carmel
parish?
or St. John B. Our Lady of Mount Carmel.
Okay.
That's where my mom and dad
she'll
live
go
right by
there.
Mount Carmel. Where's she live at? My mom and
Dude,
dad.
I was born and raised in Scottsdale, right off New Cut.
Yeah, they live right off New Cut,
So-
Auburn Oaks.
Auburn, that's right across the street from Scottsdale.
Yep, that's where my mom and my brother and my sister live in Auburn Oaks.
Did you know that Dallas
Yeah.
Kelly's a basketball superstar?
I saw the video from. Hey, he's Dallas and I are South End kids, unlike the East Ender that's on the other side of you.
He
there,
lived
Dallas.
in the rich. He was uppity.
a Trinity kid.
He actually
That's the
knew
poor
where,
school.
He actually
Just so you
knew
know.
where his 3 meals were coming from. That's
Okay.
I wasn't. I
Seems
couldn't
to
go
be-
I couldn't go to St. X.
Oh, you went to
I couldn't go to
D-Sales?
St. X or Trinity.
You
so I went-
D-Sales?
I did. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
cool. Well, several of my family members went to Iroquois, and then we moved.
Okay. Yeah.
Moved, and I went to Western.
DeSales has really done, I think, pretty good.
They used to be real good in
Oh,
football.
yeah, they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing great. They're getting, their enrollment is right where they want. They don't want to get any bigger really than where they are. They just built a new sports complex. They're doing well, getting some nice things. And I happened to look at their tuition like a month or two ago, and heck, they're right up there with St. X and Trinity now with tuition. So
Yeah, I
nothing
think
changing there either.
something I talked about a couple weeks ago when we had, I don't know if it was Dr. Reinhardt, I think was on or whatever. We were just talking about Trinity was always kind of the poor school in the East End. St. X was always the wealthy one, obviously. But I think what helped Trinity out, and the same thing that I think is helping DeSales out is alumni, right? Successful alumni and giving back to the school.
Yeah, and
Case in point.
DeSales has done a good job. DeSales they've done a really good job the last 6 or 7 years, kind of getting buses to get out to those East End spots to pick up kids and bring them out there. So they're getting a lot more kids from the East End side of the Archdiocese schools as opposed to just getting the South End kids.
And don't they have a really good soccer program? From what I remember.
Soccer?
Yeah, I was thinking that they had a really good soccer program.
I mean, their football program's strong now since they moved out. Since they started the division, they won 2 state championships, and they're usually pretty strong in football. I'm not sure if their soccer team is strong or not.
Of course, you know what Tim's thinking right now. They don't have to play Trinity for that state championship.
Yeah, they're not. But they did beat St. X They did beat St. X 2 years ago. That was a shock. I remember that.
I do remember that.
It's not Trinity. It's not Trinity, but hey.
No, but was it at St. X Stadium, or it was at the opening of one of the stadiums? I think it was St. X's new stadium. They won, if I recall that correctly.
Yeah, it was either the opening at DeSales' new stadium or.
You always like that when you go into a stadium and you
Yeah,
win the
'cause it was
first game
something-
and you're a rival, like Kentucky and Louisville. Remember that Papa John's Cardinal Stadium?
Yeah,
First
I
figure.
think when DeSales opened theirs 2 years ago, they were I want to say one of the only high schools in the state that didn't have their own football field. So
There you go.
it was a long time coming for them. They would play on Iroquois Field or Manuals or Southerns. They always had to mix it up a little bit.
Catholic education alive and well, and they're opening up
Yeah.
too, so it should be exciting.
They are.
Well, Neil, we appreciate
All
the
right,
call.
gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
the
you for
call.
calling in. Appreciate it.
Thanks, bro.
All right, y'all have a good night.
You too.
too.
See ya. Dallas, you got one more? We'll do one more.
Well, this one, you talking about a text?
Yeah, you got a text, right?
Well, this one might be a long one, but we'll try it.
Is it a theology? What's the topic?
Marriages and annulments and stuff like that.
Wow. That's a pretty simple thing.
Dallas, I have a question. What's the difference between a convalidation, a radical sanation, and a Pauline privilege?
Say that again. Give me those three.
Convalidation, radical sanation,
Don't know that one.
and Pauline
Google it.
privilege.
Oh, I know.
Father, you want me to take it or you want to
You
take it?
can take it.
But two of those are not anywhere close to being anywhere. One, convalidation doesn't have anything to do with an annulment.
Well, one or all three. All three has to either do with trying to validate a current marriage, or trying to get your situation into where you can enter into a valid marriage. Okay, a convalidation is when you have a civil marriage, maybe a couple, and for some reason, generally one of them is usually, well, it could be both Catholics involved, but most time it's one of the spouses is Catholic and the other one is a non-Catholic, and the Catholic Church does not recognize their marriage as a valid sacramental marriage.
And that happens a lot.
Yeah, so they will ask the church to convalidate it, which is a lot of times you'll hear it, bless your marriage, but the actual term is convalidation, where they'll go before a deacon or a priest, and they will basically do the ceremony again, and the church will now recognize their marriage.
Have you done one of those?
Yes.
Have you ever done one of those, Father?
Too many.
I've done one too, so we've all done them.
And then you have a...
We should probably be doing a lot more than we've done, right? There's
Okay.
probably a lot of people that could use some convalidations out there. So if you're listening and you're unsure whether your marriage has been recognized in the church, call one of us three. We'll be glad to work with you, right?
Yes, we can all three of us here can convalidate your marriage if the church does not recognize your marriage.
Currently, right?
What about radical sanation?
Yeah, what is that?
Radical sanation is when the convalidation is when both the parties are in agreement that they want to convalidate. The radical sanation is generally when one party, and it's generally the Catholic party, but not always, and they are in an invalid, the church would consider an invalid marriage, and the other spouse does not want to participate in a convalidation. So you can petition the ordinary for what's called a radical sanation, which would, because of the apostolic succession given to the bishop and the authority, he can sign a radical sanation which validates your marriage, even though just one of the parties want to participate. Is that correct, Father?
Well, I'm read canon law for you.
So
The radical
it's
sanation
complicated.
of an invalid marriage is a convalidation without the renewal of consent,
Right.
which is granted by competent authority, which is, he said, the bishop, entail the dispensation from the impediment, if there is one, from the canonical form.
Yes.
If it is not observed, the retroactivity of canonical effect. Convalidation occur at the moment of the granting of the favor. Retroactively, however, it is understood to extend to the moment of celebration of the marriage unless other provision expressly made.
Yes, you won't repeat your vows. Generally, the Catholic will petition the church, like their spouse. You know, the convalidation.
It's a mixed marriage, most likely.
Yes, most likely. The other spouse does not. You know, the convalidation. Both agree to come up and do the vows. This is where one of them don't want to have anything to do with it. But the one doing the petition, once their marriage convalidated and recognized by the church, they'll get a radical sanation. And then we get into
Who can do that?
What?
a radical sanation.
Everybody.
Because we don't really do anything. You're basically
You send an application
patient
in
to the
Okay.
to the ordinary.
to
yeah.
the
So it's not a right.
canonical court.
There's not a right then.
Right. You won't do anything basically but paperwork.
And then the Pauline privilege is
Pauline privilege is trying to get someone's situation who maybe the church doesn't recognize. Let me give an example. I think we had a case like this, Father, a few years ago. Somebody was divorced, okay, and they were wanting to get married with another individual and enter the church at the same time. This person was not Christian,
wasn't baptized.
wasn't baptized, and their spouse from the marriage that they got divorced on was not baptized either. So you're talking about two unbaptized people. They would apply for a Pauline privilege. And this has to do with St. Paul giving privileges the same way back.
Pauline privilege, yeah.
Yeah, in the early church.
To the Gentiles.
The privilege of the faith.
Yeah, because you had a lot of people converting back then. One would convert, the other one would leave the spouse because they were converting to Christianity. So that has to do with two unbaptized persons.
Right, for privilege of the faith.
And if they get a Pauline privilege, they are free to marry in the Catholic Church.
We should do a whole show on
Annulments and
convalidations and just different scenarios.
Oh, we can do that.
Now, was that right, or did you have something to add?
No,
from
that's it.
But that involves two unbaptized, when they were unbaptized at the time of their civil marriage.
Which is different from a Catholic that gets married without the permission of their bishop. What's the proper terminology for that?
The what?
When a Catholic gets married outside of the church without the permission of his bishop in a different
lack
church.
of form?
Lack of form, I guess.
Lack of form.
Yeah. That happens a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to get married in the Catholic Church to an unbaptized person, you have to get a dispensation of cult, I think it is called.
And if you don't get that, then that's another reason for annulment.
Hey,
It
Dallas,
can be
If you've got married outside the church.
outside the church, right?
you have a fan. You have a classmate. What year did you graduate from Western?
79.
79.
Who's texting you?
Man, you're old.
Your class.
Who you texting?
Your fan.
Who's texting you?
They want to remain a secret.
Remain a secret.
Hey, we got to do the saint of the day today because it's such a big saint. Don't you think?
Oh, Maximillian Kolbe, baby.
Maximillian Kolbe.
I mean, there's not
Gave his life.
What a great story. If you haven't heard the story,
It's great.
it's an unbelievable story. It's I'll paraphrase it the best I can. He's in Auschwitz. They're gonna kill some people because they tried to escape. Is that right? A group of people tried to escape, and they were gonna
to make a example
of them. And the guy that was one of the ones that was going to the starvation chamber had a wife and kids, and Maximillian Kolbe said, "I'll go in his place." And he was a priest, right? He was a Polish priest, and he offered mass in the starvation chamber,
Right.
correct? So, read the story. Unbelievable saint, and he is the saint of the day.
This is Franciscan Media's Saint of the Day for August 14th. Today we celebrate St. Maximilian Kolbe. Born in Poland in 1894, Maximilian Kolbe entered the conventual Franciscans at 16 and was ordained at 24. He developed a strong devotion to Mary, a devotion that would offer him great solace in his final days. In 1939, when the Nazis invaded Poland and bombed their small town, Father Kolbe and his fellow friars were arrested briefly, then released. Arrest came again in 1941, and without trial or sentence, he was transported to Auschwitz. There he managed to hear confessions and celebrate Mass, using smuggled bread and wine. Several prisoners managed to escape, and in retaliation, 10 men from his block were selected to die. Father Kolbe asked to take the place of one of the men, who was a husband and father. The stunned Nazi officer agreed to the exchange. Father Kolbe and the other 9 men were stripped, locked in a cell, and left to die without food or water. After 2 weeks, some, including the Franciscan priest, were still alive. They were injected with carbolic acid and their remains thrown into an oven. Maximilian Kolbe was canonized in 1982 in the presence of the man he had saved. There's more about the saints along with inspiration and Catholic resources at our website, saintoftheday.org. From Franciscan Media, this has been Saint of the Day.
Is that amazing? His canonization, the person he saved was there.
I mean, that's incredible. I mean, great story. if you haven't read about it, go read about it. I mean, obviously you've heard the gist of the story, but just an amazing saint. I like it. Hey, good show, guys.
It's fun.
Yeah, good to have you back.
Good to be back.
We would like to bring some guests on. I'm working on a pretty big show. I haven't told y'all about it yet, but anyway, down the road. So if we can pull it off, that might be our first in-person guest show here in a few weeks. So I'm going to keep it a secret for now. Because that's what I do. Hey, ssfj.org. Support our ministry. Support the church. If you're still giving with an envelope, I encourage you to switch to electronic tithing. It's just so much easier. There's no person-to-person contact. You can just push a button, which is, that's kind of the 20th century way.
20th century way, yeah.
Just push a button, donate. You can support all the ministries at that link. Anything from the special collections that take place. You can, restrict your donation any way you want, but support the church, support its outreach. We have a lot of work to do in this community. Amen House, Larry Oster's doing a fine job there, and they are in more need now than ever, I think. So a lot of things are going on in this community. Help support the Catholics, the Catholic Church, and what we do in the community, because let's be honest, what are some things we talked about tonight on the show? We need as much good news as we can have surrounding the Catholic Church, right?
We need to, yes.
Because we're gonna get attacked. It's coming. Get ready for it. So, hit like and subscribe, comment. We appreciate all the feedback today. A lot of people putting up notes and comments. We thank you for that. But definitely hit like and subscribe. No fishing report this week. Maybe next week. If Dallas gets a boat, there's gonna be a lot of fishing reports. Just saying.
We'll be doing a show from the boat.
So we still want to make
Showboat.
We still want to make that happen. If you're listening to John Carter, we need 2 boats, and Dallas doesn't have a boat yet. So we need a boat. We need a fishing boat, and we need a camera boat. That's what we need. So I wonder if
That'd be that's harder than you think it is, trying to keep 2 boats together.
well, we got pretty big lenses. We won't do 4 cameras. We'll only do a couple cameras. The hard part will be power. So we need a generator. Hey, if you want to be a part of the live show on the water, let us know. Right? It'll be fun, won't it? It'll be exciting.
Well, I did a live feed.
You did.
So I know that. No, I'm talking not the recording, the live feed. Remember?
I saw that. Yeah.
So we know that it'll pick up out on that lake. So
yeah, I don't know if we'll do it live or if we'll tape it and then edit it and
to make sure it does.
Yeah. We'd have to have a lot of electricity to go live to power everything up. So we probably won't do that. But hey, I just want to say, just because I got the microphone, I want to say hi to my wife, Kelly.
Because it's her birthday?
It's not her birthday, but, she's a teacher. She's getting ready to go back to school. She's been working really, 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 really hard.
Back, not until October.
No, they're having online school. So they've been preparing for in-person. Now they're switching online. So just all the teachers in Scott County have got a curveball thrown to them. So, they got a lot going on. I just want to tell her I love her. She's an awesome teacher. I helped her put together her video. She did a video. I should play it for you. I'm not going to. But it's an awesome video, and she works hard, and I just wanted to tell her and everybody else she's the best teacher in Scott County. Anyway, that's all I got. Father Lynn, can you give us your blessing?
May Almighty God bless you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen. That's all I got.
Blessed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Until the next show, or until Sunday. We'll see you Sunday, but we'll also see you next week, right?
That's right.
I'm Deacon Tim.
I'm Deacon Dallas.
I'm Father Lynn.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Did you ever stop and think, why spend too much time just getting ready? Let me be honest, I don't know a single thing that I haven't done to make you notice me. Let me be real here. When I see you, my heart starts racing, but I don't know if I like this chasing and playing and waiting around. It's a shame that my hands start shaking.